What's good guys, Lewis here. So today in this video I'm going to teach you how to fix your fucked up shoulders. So a bit of a backstory for me. I've been plagued with notoriously bad shoulders for years and years. I've tore the axial nerve in my shoulder, I've dislocated my shoulders, and I've also managed to get an impingement in my front and rear delt at one point in the journey as well. So I've still managed to work my way around it, rehab them, prehab them, build back that functional stability and strength, and still be able to do the movements I love. So hopefully in this video today I can impart some wisdom and show you some of the drills that have helped me massively on returning back to proper exercise and still pushing my performance, my strength and my physique development. So exercise number one, what we want to be doing when we are focusing on the rehab process of the shoulders is learning that the shoulder is built around a couple of larger muscle groups: the chest, the lats, the traps, the back, the rhomboids. And the shoulder girdle itself is where the instabilities tend to lie. So a really good exercise to kick things off with is just an active bar hang, and learning how to hang from a bar and let the shoulder girdle decompress and open up the shoulders. What you want to be thinking about and being conscious about when you're actually doing this drill when you're hanging from the bar is rolling your hips forward as well. If you can get a little bit of an abdominal contraction, that is incredible. And what this will do is fire up your lower lats as well and tighten in the shoulder girdle. Another movement which I find absolutely incredible is the bamboo bar 360. So from the hip all the way round, dropping it down to the bum. And you obviously want to be smart here, adjust the width of your hands based upon your own mobility and flexibility. But what this will do is take the shoulder, the chest, the rear delts and the rhomboids through a full range of motion, an active range of motion as well. Because if you can do this, then you can take your shoulders through compromised ranges of motion, which are oftenly found when you're doing your strength training, your bodybuilding stuff, your functional base training as well. So I would definitely run this for anywhere between 3 rounds of 8 to 10 reps, depending on how bad your shoulders are. The more you do it, the looser they will become. Motion is the lotion, boys, remember that. And I've always found a massive ROI with this, and it's really nice as well because sometimes a shoulder injury can affect the biceps, and this will really work on a nice bicep stretch as well, not only targeting the shoulders. Here we have the overhead V stretch is what I'm going to call it. So you can use the opposite arm, the one that's at the bottom, to pull down on the bar, and you'll be able to see up the right hand side here, the lat is fired up, the tricep is fired up. You've got to remember that the lats, the triceps and the shoulder girdle are all connected. It's all connective tissue. I always like to look at the body as one unit, and when you can work on the unit as a whole, you can really regain that mobility, that strength, and redevelop that postural correction. So doing it on both sides for anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds. Another nice little tip to consider as well when you're doing this is twisting your neck to one side, and this will stretch off the traps and the neck as well. You want to keep the elbow pointed up as high as you possibly can when doing this, and pull down with the arm behind your back, and this will stretch the tricep and the lat very, very nicely. From there, what we're going to work on as well is the overhead bamboo bar side stretch. And again, this is a movement which will activate the core, the abs, the lats and the shoulders. If you can do this, you will notice a nice stretch through the underarm, the lats and the shoulder girdle. And the big thing is, in which we're looking to do here all the time, is just make sure everything is tight, everything is firing, and you feel comfortable in these compromised positions. Because think about it, when you're weight training, you're literally pushing your body under force through a load to try build and develop a muscle. But if the muscle is weak and can't be taken through the full range of motion, then it's as good as nothing. This one here as well is just a basic desk stretch. You can grab a bar, a pole, anything you want, just sit back into it to open up the traps, the lats. And what I'm doing here is going a side V stretch and just opening up the thoracic spine as well, which is almost your horizontal bar path of the spine. And again, very, very nice. You can just play around by twisting side to side, sitting back deeper, and spend anywhere between 10 to 15 seconds per stretch here. And I'm just doing a classic pec stretch here as well, because sometimes the old school stuff is just as good as the new school stuff, and this here, once you've warmed everything up, can be a nice wee stretch just for the pec minor the front delt and the chest to work with, along with the biceps. Everything's all connected, as I've said before. And again, just running mobility drills like this can be absolutely superb. What we're doing here as well is a one arm hang. So if you have something that you can get a side support with and then a arm over your head to, you know, grab onto in terms of a bar, you can set into that, and again, you're working on that single arm stability. If you can hang from a bar with one arm, with, let's say, your bad shoulder, your compromised shoulder, this will put you in a really solid position for the rehab and recovery process, because you're essentially giving confidence back to the area which is weak, and you're stretching the sides unilaterally. And again, you can start with the weak side, match with the strong side, and just open up the lats, the traps, and the rear delts, and the front of the shoulder. This one here is one of the daddies. So this is more internal strength. This is just your internal, external rotation seated. Using the knee and maybe anywhere between a 2 and 4 kilo dumbbell is absolutely superb. When doing this, flow with it. So as you rotate up, twist the body the other direction, and keep the bicep tense as well. And you will notice once you get to the top, everything in the shoulder will start to connect. All the little tiny supportive muscles and tissues inside the shoulder itself will fire up and really start activating and turning on, which I find incredible. So if you do this, I'd probably say 3-4 times a week, your shoulders will begin to become bulletproof. They will start getting stronger, more robust, and they will start feeling incredible, because you're working all the tendons, the ligaments, the joints together synergistically, along with the deep internal muscles, which are going to be all your stabilizers for your heavy presses, your pulls, your rows, anything that you're doing. And again, you're looking for anywhere between 10 and 12 reps per side doing this. You might notice if you do have a weaker, more compromised side than the other, then focusing on the weak side first is always going to be a really beneficial way to start. That way you can match with your strong side, and again, don't become imbalanced even more so than you currently are. When doing this as well, make sure you're just taking your time with. We're not looking to load too heavy. We're literally just looking to go time under tension, taking it for a full range of motion, and make sure once you peak that the shoulder is really well warmed up. This one here is a prisoner stretch, so lying flat on the floor, just relax into it with a little bit of a high chest contraction, arms behind your back and flying the elbows back. What this will do is activate the rhomboids, the rear delts, and then here we can work our T's and Y's straight into a prisoner drill as well. And again, you're working all the deep connective tissue internally inside the shoulder, the lats, the traps, the rhomboids, the rear delts, the triceps, the long head, and taking it through this range is going to be absolutely phenomenal, not only for postural correction, but chest and rhomboid rehab development. When we're doing this, because you're taking it through such a strange range of motion, which it might not be used to, it will give you a workout, it will give you a burn. So I would like you guys to focus on anywhere between 8 to 15 reps on this, depending on your endurance, because it will smoke your shoulders out very quickly, and it will be quite challenging. So when you take your hands back and your hands touch, drop the elbows down as far as you can, then raise them as high as you can as well. This one here is your scapula push-up. Just get a right angle on this. But this is, again, is all focused on internal shoulder stabilization and strength with the lats, the traps, the shoulder girdle, and the scapula. As you can see, there's a lot of range of motion going through my shoulder blades here. But this is going to be super useful for regaining that scapular control, which is going to keep the shoulders in a really healthy, uncompromised spot. Final exercise is going to be a wall angel. So once you've warmed everything up, working on this almost isolation movement, this isometric movement, and taking your hands through a range of motion. The scapula will be warmed up, your back is flat against the wall as much as you possibly can, bum and upper back touching, and you're just literally trying to lift your hands over your head and pull the elbows as deep down as you possibly can. This one is an incredible finisher for this particular shoulder drill, and the better you get at all of these simultaneously, the healthier and stronger and more robust your shoulders will be. But I would recommend playing around with this as many times a week as possible. This is almost like a picnic basket for your shoulders, and you can just take and choose what feels right at certain periods of time throughout your training split, so you can bulletproof those shoulders, rehab those injuries, and get back to full healthy training. I'll see you next one, guys. Thanks very much. Much love.